we bounce you out, really go down, not to shout. Slavery and no fish out. Hey, bounce your body out, we bounce you out. On my no scream, no to shout. Hey, no lie down. Another banger, baby, down, down. Yo, this your body, you put him out for lockdown, oh lockdown. Yo, you sweet life, phantom, phantom. If I tell you say I love you, no day for me, young girl, oh young girl. No tell me no, 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 no. Oh, 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 oh. Baby, come give me your lo, 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 oh, 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 oh. You got me like oh, 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 oh. Shawty, come give me your lo, 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 oh, 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 oh. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad. I don't know what's over me. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm wild. I don't know what's over me. I don't know what's over me. I'm overthinking it. And I time I feel like nobody can understand the way. Cause I am fucked up. I don't know how to keep calm. So I've been drinking cold. I've been drinking too many it's just soft gone. One for the belly, another for the road. Three for the foot, so I don't go. Looking for somebody who can watch my show. So, I can never be so. They tell me things, they tell me that. They see my bitch, say she act bad. Anytime I'm back, I knock it out. No rubber band, no rubber band. Every time I put down, they show me that. If I know pull out, she got my back. I tell you, I'm happy that. I'll tell you, say everything I do is for my woman. Anything I saw when you talk, I go do. Me I know this year, now that get from my fish rocks. Yeah, loving you, now in my ritual.
Hey, DJ, kick it.
We break the ball and stagger, so I'm moving close and dagger. See me in a black bandana, in a Lambo with Toby Santa. I can see you in a bucket with a rubber for shirt, and a gun from a rubber. Since I started, every man, my time, be now,
All right, city, state, country. Where you tuned in from? Let's get going. City, state, country. That's all right, Lynette. I appreciate you. City, state, country. Where you tuned in from? Or yeah, city, state, or country if you're not from America. Let's see it. Napa. Good evening. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, DJS202. Appreciate that, brother. I do. Degalicious. Yeah, a lot of scammers. TikTok won't get rid of them. TikTok really sucks. Scottsdale, Arizona. Appreciate you. The Bronx. ATL, DC. Let me get. Oh, I'm missing a lot of comments. St. Louis, Columbus. Oh, wow. Newman. Delray Beach, Florida. New York again. Utah, Alabama. Philly, Colonial Heights, Virginia, Mississippi, Tampa. Appreciate you, Lynette, again. Memphis, Riverside, California. Novi, Michigan. I hope I said that right. Bronx. Bronx is heavy tonight. Houston, Palmdale, California. Tennessee, Arlington, Texas. Dallas, Texas. Houston, Chicagoland. Hey, Mary. South Portland, Maine. Caitlin. Cincinnati, Toronto. Huntersville. Hey, B. Dallas, and happy birthday to you, B. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Florence, South Carolina, Genoa, Ohio, St. Louis, Gonzales, Louisiana. I'm tripping. LA. I had LA on my mind. NOLA, Honduras. Thank you so much. Tuning in from the Honduras. DC, one of my favorite places as always. What is going on? Here we go. Detroit, thank you. Appreciate you. Denver. All right, y'all let me know where you're tuning in from and then hit that share button if you would. Tag somebody, tell them to tune in, let them know that we are live and on the air tonight and with a powerful conversation on resentment, which is going to be really solid tonight. This is going to be a solid live. And so I hope you're prepared to jump in. Point Arena, California. Hope to have a California date announced here really soon. and 3 more other dates, and then we're going to close it in Atlanta, Georgia. So I hope to have that out really soon. Just still kind of waiting on some things. It's moving really slow. But we're going to make that happen. But good evening, everybody. It's good to be on with you. And I really hope everybody's doing okay on this Friday Eve. I'm excited to be here. And again, really excited to teach tonight. This is going to be fun and a really nice lesson. Fayetteville, thank you so much. Again, like the video, share the video. We'll try not to get banned tonight. There's no telling, but we'll try not to get banned. So we'll see what happens and go from there. When will individual sessions open up? Not sure. If you were to sign up today, the soonest you could get on my calendar would probably be September or October. So it probably won't be for another 2 or 3 months, maybe. And that's what tends to happen when it opens up fast and it swallows up really quickly. But we will see. I appreciate you asking that. London, wow, London, UK. Thank you so much, Callie. Yep, that's the plan to get there. Hope I'm getting rest and nutrition. Interesting you say that. I am doing okay with nutrition, actually, but not doing the best with rest. But I'm gonna thug out about 2 more weeks worth of work, 2 or 3 more weeks next week. No, week after. Yeah, about a week and a half more work of work. 1.5 more weeks, 1.5 more weeks worth of work, and then take some vacation time. Get some time off. Let me switch my microphones really quickly. So that's the plan. Appreciate all of you and thank you for your support. I believe, yeah, let me do this. Yeah, definitely massages on the menu for sure. And got to do that. Hey, I had a good doctor's visit though. Everything is great. Everything looks good. It's no bad things at all. He's really impressed with how I take care of myself and challenged me to take care of myself in some other ways. And we're going to do that, but certainly a great report and really thankful for that. Let's get this audio switched because let's get this microphone switched. There we go. Because y'all ain't gonna be talking about me. I am still appalled at how you guys allowed me to go years sounding like I had a lisp. And that's just wild to me. Nobody told me. Coach Sean, who does my video editing, he didn't tell me. Nobody told me that I sounded like I had a lisp on these lives, and that's wild how everybody y'all just listen to me. I guess I was the nerdy guy with the hat and the lisp. and no and nobody said a word, and that's crazy. So remind me not to be out with any of y'all and have something wrong with me because ain't none of y'all gonna tell me. So I definitely learned that lesson and learned about y'all for sure. But that was wild how nobody told me what was what. Absolutely fired. Everybody fired. But I appreciate all of you. I want to get into it tonight. We've got I think, an incredible conversation. I don't know if it's going to be a candidate for Live of the Year, but these lives really do get better every week. And this is something I've kind of wanted to cover for some time, if I'm being honest with you. And I felt like now was a really good time to do it. And so let's talk about resentment. All right. And before we get into that, there's a couple of things there's a couple of things that we need to be reminded of really quickly. Yeah, definitely sounded like a lisp, and y'all know better. Y'all definitely played me big time.
Oh my God!
But that's okay. I'm going to remember all of that. I'm going to remember you guys. Let me get my background lights on really quickly. Um, while I'm doing this, let me just remind you of a few things. Number one, um, the group work that I have coming up is on July the 21st, I think it is. The link is in my bio. It's for those of you that are going through a divorce, those of you that are contemplating a divorce, those of you that are recovering from a divorce. This is a group work that I wanted to do for some time because I want to get in a virtual room as many people as possible that will sign up to share some things with you about how to make that transition if that's the path that you're on or heading toward. And I want to make this clear. I shouldn't have to say this, but I want to make this clear. I am pro reconciliation. I love it when people can figure it out. But the reality is, you can't always figure it out with people who don't want to do the work. In fact, take always out of it. You can't figure nothing out with nobody who won't do the work. And the reality is, I get so repetitive in this space where I literally say the same thing 12, 13, 14, 15 times, different times every week to clients. And so, yes, even if you're not married, if you're in a long term relationship post breakup, you're welcome to that. It's not just for married people. If you're going through or processing a breakup or thinking about a breakup, this session is going to be good for you. I'm gonna teach about 30 to 40 minutes of that session, and then I'm going to just open it up. And what you're going to see in this little community is that you're not experiencing these things in a silo or in a vacuum. There are other people around the world who are dealing with the exact same identical thing. And when people get in front of me, they always think that their problem is the greatest problem in the world. And it's not. Because just when you think you have a great problem, there's somebody that's going through 10 times worse. And I understand that because I'm in a seat that gives perspective. A lot of people come here and they have no perspective and they think that their problems are the end of the world. And so you'll see in this community that you're going to be connected to people who are literally doing the same thing. And then you'll have people on this call who have come out of it. And it's so funny when people have to go through a divorce or they're in the beginning stages of it or they're contemplating it, they think the world is crumbling. And then to watch them transform from that, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, they cannot resolve their marriage or fix their marriage. And so they go through that, they come out of that, and they end up living a life that they never thought that they could live before because they are living a healed life. And so when you heal through divorce, there is life after divorce. All right. When you heal through divorce, there is life after divorce. So I want to make that very clear. And I think, for that reason, this is going to be a solid group work. So that is July the 21st, I believe it is. Let me also mention tickets are still on sale for the tour. Next up is Chicago. Next up is Chicago, and that's coming up the second week in July. And it's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. And I want to encourage all of you, if you have not grabbed your ticket to Chicago, to do that right away. And if you stick around to the end, I might be able to provide you a little incentive to do that. All right. For those of you that have not purchased a general admission ticket to Chicago, we might have a little incentive for you to do that if you stick around to the end of the show. All right, so I do want you to grab your ticket there and grab your ticket for Charlotte as well, which is coming up in August. And these are going to be two great stops and really excited about it, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be um, a really good time for sure. Tour. I think it's going to be a really good tour and a really good stop, and really looking forward to seeing all of you there. And so, yeah, if you stick around to the end, um, it should be a little treat for you for Chicago. We'll focus on Chicago tonight. Maybe do something for Charlotte later. But it should be a good little treat and incentive for you to sign up for Chicago if you have not already. And yeah, looking forward to seeing all of you there. Okay, looking forward to seeing all of you there, and just excited about that. Um, now, let me also mention really quickly. It is my hope, again, to add some other cities really quickly, hopefully over the next week or two, to just go ahead and map out the remaining 3 or 4 cities that are going to be on the tour to complete the year. It's in essence the fall schedule. And so that's my hope, to make that happen and to be able to announce that really soon, within the next week or two. Again, having some challenges in some cities, but not discouraged. We're just going to get through it. And so, if you'll definitely be patient, my hope is to be sharing that with you really, really soon. All right. And that's going to be that. Do me a favor. Um, Also, be on the lookout. There might be a surprise announcement in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That is going to be a major announcement that I think a lot of you are going to enjoy. And so I want to encourage you to continue to support the work, share my videos, like them, share them. I'm severely shadow banned on all networks. It's life, but still putting out some great content, having some great conversations, and grateful to all of my clients that allow me to share. All right. Do me a favor. If I say something that makes sense to you, I want you to type church in the comments with as many R's as you want to tonight. Do me a favor. Make sure you keep the comments professional. Be respectful of the community that we have established here. Want to shout out all of my awesome, first of all, subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. If you have not, If you have not subscribed on IG or Patreon, I would highly recommend you do it right away. I've got a very robust calendar of programming that I'm putting together for those communities. And so it's going to be great. And so I encourage you to do that quickly. Also, I want to shout out my moderators in all of the rooms tonight. Thank you so much for your work and hard work. Let's keep the communities very professional. Let's be very respectful of people's comments in the chat area. And in the event that you see something ignorant, which tends to happen, without a doubt, just drop an eagle in the chat area. And the reason we do that is because, number one, eagles don't respond to birds. And two, our moderators will see the eagles and they'll shoot them out of the sky, proverbially. All right. And so if you see any idiotic comments in the chat tonight, just don't go back and forth with people. Drop an eagle, and our awesome moderators will take care of that for us. Finally, want to challenge you to support the show. You guys supported the show well last week. I think you really enjoyed the topic. I want to challenge you to support the show tonight. Of course, you know how this goes. If you support the show, we will leave this up so that you can see the replay on YouTube and Facebook. If not, this live will only be available to subscribers who are chomping at the bits because they will watch this stuff over and over and over again. I have awesome subscribers in the Patreon and IG community who reach out occasionally to let me know how this is helpful. All right. And so I want to challenge you to support the show. If you want to support the show, you may see people drop a salad icon in the chat. It is because they have supported the show or they are encouraging you to do so after I say something that might be impactful. So I want to challenge you to do that. Thank you. Yes, love to see that there are guys in the chat room. I'm definitely getting an increase of men as clients. So I want to give major kudos to you. When a man is saved, an entire family is saved. That's simple. If a man is saved, a generation is changed. It's that simple. And ladies, I love you, but your healing work is great and it's necessary. But when we're talking about families and community, it is the healing work of a man that really changes generations. And so I want to shout out all of my new male clients that are doing so well. Some individuals, some that are in couples or marriages. And I want to really appreciate you tonight and say thank you for that. All right. Let's get into it. Type in the chat. Tonight's topic, the disease called resentment. Let's get to work. All right. The disease called resentment. You should have your journal. You should have something to write with. Yes, the Chicago crew can always use some support. If you want to assist with Chicago, email me at info@zebthethird.com and I'll connect you to the site coordinator there. Her name is Mary and she'll reach out to you. info@zebthethird.com. Thank you so much. The disease called resentment. Let's talk about it. This is going to be good. This is going to be a tough live for some of you because it's going to be a hard one. And I'm going to be honest with you. Where I want to start is with a very hard truth. I want to start with a very hard truth and just come out of the gate swinging. And this is the first note that I want you to record. Some of you have not healed your resentment. Some of you have not healed your resentment because resentment is a spiritual principle. Or rather, resentment requires spiritual work. Some of you have not healed your resentment because it requires spiritual work. Which means a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say tonight, you're going to need a spiritual lens to understand. And if you don't have a spiritual foundation, you're going to struggle with resentment. You're going to struggle with resentment. Some of you can't break your resentment because you don't have a spiritual foundation.
Oh my God.
You don't have a spiritual foundation. So if you don't have a spiritual foundation, you absolutely cannot fight something as strong as resentment. I'm already being filtered on TikTok. Hey, y'all, TikTok, like the video, share the video. I don't know why I haven't done anything. What have I done? To deal with resentment, it requires a spiritual compass. And we're going to need a spiritual compass. You're going to need a spiritual compass to be able to deal with this. Okay? That said, let me say this. Offense is the incident, but resentment is the disease. We're going to start there and we're going to unpack this. Offense is the incident, but resentment is the disease. Offense is the incident. We're going to come back to that in a second. But resentment is the disease, which means resentment does not just come to us and just drop on our laps. Resentment, 99.9% of the time, is almost always the result of a reaction to offense, to an incident. Take offense out. We'll come back to offense. Resentment is almost always a reaction to an incident. Why is this important? Because in order to be honest about your levels of resentment that you're struggling with in your life about whatever it is that you have resentment towards, we're going to get to a definition of that in a second. You absolutely cannot address resentment in a significant way if you're not honest or self-aware about the incidents that have occurred in your life. Self-awareness 101. Let's define it quickly. For you newbies, put this in your journal. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week. Self-awareness is honesty about who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. That's at any given time. self-awareness, honesty about who you are, where you are, what you're doing. Well, if you're going to combat resentment, you have to be very self-aware about the incidents that have occurred in your life that have planted this seed called resentment. And some of you can't fight resentment because not only you can't fight it because it's a spiritual principle, you don't have a spiritual foundation. Some of you can't fight it because you're not being honest about the incidents that have sown the seed of resentment. I had a client tell me recently she was so in love with her parents, so enamored and enthralled by her parents, but she was so rose-colored glasses that she could not see that their dysfunction had a direct connection to a lot of her behavior. She said, well, Doc, I don't feel any resentment towards them. I said, well, you can't feel resentment about something you're not honest about. Oh my God. How you gonna feel resentment about something you're not even honest about? How can you feel resentment about anything you're not self-aware about? Thank you, Naomi the Great, and happy early birthday to you. How can you feel resentment about something you're not honest about? So, if you haven't noticed a pattern in my work yet, there is a pattern you need to catch, that everything starts with honesty. Watch this. And it starts with honesty, not just about who they are, where they are, and what they're doing. It also includes honesty about who you are, where you are, and what you are doing. It's a two-way street. Many of you have resentment towards people, but you only tell them one side of the story. Uh-oh. Oh my God. Uh-oh. Here we go. Yeah, you only telling one side of the story. And the reality is, I laugh at people. I can't even take people seriously who come to me with a complaint and they only have one side of the story. How in the heck you gonna heal and you only telling one side? Oh my God. How? It is dysfunction at its finest. You're not going to fix a thing in your life if you're only telling one side of the story. So we can't even dive into your resentment and addressing it and healing from it until we're being honest about the roles that everybody played in the story. The reality is, some of this resentment some of you have towards people, you left out the part that you played. Oh my God. Comments are slow, numbers are slow. Y'all ain't sharing the video, ain't supporting the show. That was a bar. I did it by accident. Some of y'all are so upset with your parents, with your ex-husband, ex-wife, your last job. What you so upset with all these people, but you leaving out the part that you played in that. And do you want to know what one of the biggest enemies to resentment, healthy healing from resentment? Let me say this now. One of the biggest enemies, I want you to record this. One of the biggest enemies to healthy healing from resentment, watch this, it's something y'all like to play, the victim. Oh my God. Some of y'all should work for CSI because all you do is play the victim. You are great at telling every part of a story but your part. You good at repeating the details of everybody else's part but yours. And you don't even realize that the part you leaving out is probably the part you need in order to feel better about the part you don't feel good about. I'm going to say it again. The part you leaving out is probably the part you need in order to feel better about the part you feel bad about. In other words, you can get over what they did to you when you start owning what you did to you.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say it slow. You can get over what they did to you when you are honest about what you did to you. Y'all write that down? That was a bar. That was salad worthy. This is why many of y'all struggling. You are master storytellers, except for the part that talks about your role in the story. You can absolutely get over what they did to you when you are honest about what you did to you. And this is why many of y'all stuck in this, what I call pseudo, it ain't even real resentment. It's pseudo resentment. And it's not hard to spot out on my calls. I don't know why I'm looking in my pocket for my rag. It's not hard to spot out on my calls. People get on the calls and you can tell the way it's going because they will literally spend the first 10, 15, 20 minutes just explaining everything that's wrong with them. And everything they're talking about is what people did. That my mama did this, my daddy would never do. I did it. Da, 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 da. And we get through that. But then eventually I have to get you to a place where you recognize your role in all of this so you can do something about it. Because a lot of this y'all claim to think is resentment. It ain't real resentment. It's pseudo. It's fake resentment. And I'm telling you now, if you have not owned your part in what you have resentment over, your resentment is pseudo. Your resentment is pseudo. You know why I'm screaming? I'm being petty. Somebody told me on one of my videos that I sound like I'm strung out on meth because when I do my Friday video, stop. I need you to stop. Da, da, da. And they said, well, because I'm so loud and so aggressive, their words, that they think I'm strung out on meth. I hate the internet. I hate the internet. I love y'all, but I hate the internet. If you're not owning your part in a situation that you have resentment over, your resentment is fake. And pseudo resentment, yes, to your question on TikTok, pseudo resentment is worse than real resentment. You know why? Because it's grounded in delusion. I'm giving y'all bars like crazy. I ain't even touched my notes yet. Wait till I get to those. Pseudo resentment is worse than regular resentment because it's grounded in dysfunction. It's grounded in delusion. Yeah, it's worse. And unfortunately, this is where many of you are, which is why you talk so much. You talk so much. So many of you talk so much about what people have done to you and how you resent all of these people and these things they've done to you. And you just what's the word? So amazingly leave out your part. So when we're operating in self-awareness, y'all, that's going to take care of a lot of the problem. And this is why I'm beating you upside the head with this. Don't y'all report me on TikTok. Y'all extra sensitive over there. This is why I'm beating you guys over the head with this. Because some of this stuff that y'all calling resentment ain't as deep as you think it is because it doesn't include your part. It doesn't include your part. All right? Now, Yeah, TikTok like some of y'all. Always in your feelings. Oh, Lord. Now we got somebody on here. Y'all, the internet is just so weird. Let me stay focused. TT reporting in 3. Yeah, there's the Eagles. I thought so. Yeah, we got a bird on TikTok somewhere. Let me give you the definition of resentment. My definition of resentment is a simple one. Resentment is bottled up anger that has not been processed nor released. Record it. Put it in your journal. You're gonna be the smartest person at the water cooler. Resentment is bottled up anger that has not been processed nor released. That's resentment. Resentment is nothing more but anger that has not been processed or released. That's all it is. Bottled up anger that has not been processed nor released. Now, that's a very basic definition of resentment. Let's expand on this, because if that's resentment, bottled up anger that has not been processed nor released, resentment then always will include 4 elements. Resentment will always include 4 elements. Y'all writing? I'm going slow tonight to give y'all a chance. Resentment will always include 4 elements. Let me cut my air up. There we go. It's going to always include 4 elements. Number 1, offense. Element 1, offense. OFFENSE. Anytime resentment is involved, offense is going to have something to do with it. Let me say this. We know what it means to be offended, right? I don't think I have to create a definition for offense. I didn't create one for it. I'm just assuming that most people know what it means to be offended. But let me just say this to you. Some of us need to also develop a healthier relationship with being offended. Some of you are too easily offended. Let me say this. If you are easily offended, you're going to be easily what? Resentful. If everything offends you, you're going to have resentment about everything. Doc, why are you beating us up so much? You're supposed to be talking about the people we resentful towards, because there comes a place in your healing journey and growth where you recognize that your greatest responsibility in your healing journey is not what people did or didn't do to you. Oh my God. It's what you are doing to be accountable and responsible for your life. And some of us got a lot of resentment because we always offended. You always offended about something. You so easily distraught. You're so easily worked up. You're so easily offended. And I'm telling you now, if you are easily offended, you're going to have plenty of reasons to be resentful towards people. You're going to have plenty of reasons. Let's just substitute the word with the definition. You're going to have plenty of reasons to have bottled up anger inside of you that you have not properly processed. This is why some people struggle with my work. I told them straight up. I told a guy this week, straight up, a couple this week, told them straight up to their face, y'all have a conversation and make sure this is something y'all want to do. Because at the rate y'all going, y'all need Dr. Phil or somebody else that's going to let y'all just talk crazy. Oh my God. If you don't take personal accountability and responsibility over here, you not going to be able to get no work done. And a lot of this stuff that we are resentful towards people about, it's just really the matter of just being easily offended. Some of you go from 0 to 100 without permission. Every little thing is always a problem. You have the customer complaint hotline number saved in your phone. You always got a problem with something. And I'm telling you, if legitimate offense is one of the first elements of resentment, if you don't manage how you're offended, I'm telling you, you're going to live almost every day in resentment. You ain't going to catch no breaks. Almost every single day of your life, you're going to be walking around in pain. And I get it. Because if I'm being honest, the reason why some of you are doing that, because most of you don't even know the difference between accountability and responsibility. Most people don't know the difference between accountability and responsibility. Most people use the words interchangeably. Why does that matter? Well, it matters because when you know the difference between accountability and responsibility, then it helps you to manage offense a lot better. It helps you to determine that if somebody's behavior is really merited of this bottled up anger you're about to carry. But if you don't know the difference between accountability and responsibility, you're going to weigh everything as your problem. So I'm waiting on somebody to say, then Doc, what's the difference? Let's think obligation. Let me make this real plain. When you're responsible for something, you have direct obligation over it. Record this. Come on. Y'all gonna be the smartest person in the water cooler all week. And y'all ain't supporting the show. I'm checking. When you have responsibility over something, you have direct accountability over it. When you have accountability for something, you have indirect and direct responsibility for something. When you are responsible for something, you have direct accountability over it. When you are accountable for something, you can have both direct, but primarily, it's indirect, then possibly direct obligation over it. Let me explain. Give you a simple analogy to make this make sense. I've recorded this a million times or explained this a million times. If the janitor of an organization sets the bathroom on fire, let's say the janitor at the corporate headquarters of a corporation sets the bathroom on fire. Who has to take responsibility for that fire? Who has direct obligation over that fire? The janitor. The janitor said it. The janitor is going to be directly obligated for the damages, the whatever, connected to that fire. Who's going to be accountable for the fire? Well, the janitor's still going to have some accountability, but the CEO is also accountable for that fire. Well, wait a minute, Doc. That doesn't sound fair. The CEO didn't. The CEO did not set the fire. The CEO had nothing to do with this fire being set. So why is the CEO obligated to the fire because the CEO has an indirect connection to what goes on with that corporation and a direct one. Y'all ready for something that's going to just blow your brain away? When you understand the power of accountability and responsibility, you will recognize that some of the things that you're holding people responsible for, you also have some accountability in. If I never say nothing else tonight, I've said enough. Let me say it slow. Some of these offenses that you're holding people responsible for, you also have some accountability in. Oh my God. Nope, you didn't set the fire. Nope, you weren't the janitor that did it. But you were connected to it. You were connected to it. Nope, you didn't cheat. They cheated. Nope, they were the ones that was for the streets. It wasn't you. But you didn't show up as the best version of yourself every day either. Y'all ain't gonna like that. Oh my God. And this generation's so sensitive that when you talk about stuff like this, then you get accused of stuff like victim shaming. What? What? How can you be victim shamed in something you partly accountable for? And I get it. It is the sensitive times we live in, which is why some of y'all don't need to come this way when I open my books. Just like I told that couple this week, hey, y'all go back to the drawing board. Make sure this is what y'all want. That's not being funny. I'm being honest. When you recognize the difference between accountability and responsibility, then you recognize how we have to sometimes own offenses in a different way. Y'all see this? I went and bought this just for y'all. Y'all see this? This bottle of ginger ale. Y'all see this? Everybody see this? This bottle is your life. Okay? This bottle is your life. When you're offended, it's like somebody shaking it. Y'all stay with me. Offense is nothing more than a literal shaking of your emotions. Y'all writing this down? This might be the live of the year. I'm slow cooking tonight. Offense is a literal shaking of your thoughts and emotions. This you. When somebody offends you, they shake you. They shake your thoughts. They shake your emotions. Offense is a literal shaking of your thoughts and emotions. Somebody did you wrong. Somebody cursed you out. Somebody mistreated you. Somebody abandoned you. Well, what's the problem with this? Every time I shake it, what happens inside? See those suds? Y'all see that? Those suds take us to elements 2 and 3. Those suds, pain and anger. Nothing wrong with my Wi-Fi. Check y'all's. Those suds, pain and anger. And every time you're offended, pain and anger are created. Y'all with me? Doc, which one comes first? Is it pain or is it anger? I don't know. It could be either one. I don't think it has to be a certain order. We have detected inactivity during your current live. What? Lord, TikTok said they have detected inactivity in my live. I don't know if it's pain or anger. Which one comes first? But what I do know eventually, when you're offended, you see pain and anger. So one of them can be carbonation, one can be liquid. Doesn't matter which one it is. Every time you're offended. This making sense? I'm trying to make this as bite-sized as I can. But there is no official order. There's not. This is very similar to going through the 5 stages of grief. To suggest that when an event occurs and you have to grieve it, that the first thing that comes up is denial every time is not true. It's not. It's very situational. Pain doesn't have to be before anger, and anger doesn't have to be before pain. It's very situational. All I know is that both of them are going to be in the same. Now, I see a really good question on YouTube that I want to infuse into my talk here. Somebody said, so is this not a natural response? That's a really good question, but I want to answer it 2 ways. Number one, the answer to that question depends on how you respond, first of all, to offense. Because watch, when somebody does something and you're not shaken, is there any pain or anger? Hey, do me a favor. I want everybody to type in the chat in all capital letters the word levels. Let me give you a C3C, a C3A nugget right now. You ready for this C3A level nugget? For people that are healed, that can manage their thoughts and emotions, we don't even get to the suds because it's hard to shake us. Oh my God. It's hard to shake us. I told my doctor this week when we met, asking how I was doing, and I said that I'm doing fine for the most part. I don't remember the last time I've gotten to a place where I was just shook up. And when that has occurred, it was something real serious. Because when you heal and you can manage your thoughts and emotions, we don't have to worry about if it's pain or anger first, because we don't let people shake us. Oh my God. So I don't know. That's one point that I want to mention. Whether or not it's pain or anger first. First of all, first before we even get to that, are you easily shaken? Okay? So that's number one. Second point I want to make to that very nice question that was asked what was it? What was the question? Oh my gosh. Was it pain and anger first? I think it was. Oh, is this not a natural response? That was the question. Was this not a natural response? Well, again, I gave you the first part. Some of us healed, we're not easily shaken. Secondly, yes, it can be a natural response to events occurring in your life. When events occur in your life, you can naturally respond with anger. You can naturally feel pain. But when you are self-aware,
You recognize what happens to you when you continue to allow offense to create pain and anger. Some of y'all have already hinted to this. Some of you have already hinted to this. And it's simple. That if you keep doing this, guess what's going to happen to the soda? It's going to get flat. Again, y'all put levels here because some of y'all are going to dumb this down so you can feel better about your dysfunction. When I have research and data, I literally have research that suggests that even when you feel physical sensory pain, the extent to which you manage your thoughts and emotions around that sensory pain is the extent to which you will continue to feel it. Which means everything still comes back to your thoughts, victim players. So whether or not it's natural to feel pain or emotion, I think is a choice you need to make. But let me tell you what self-awareness teaches us. Self-awareness teaches us that if I keep doing this, and I keep on doing this, and I keep letting people shake me and things shake me, this bottle, i.e. your life, this bottle, i.e. your life, ain't gonna be no good. Oh my God. So natural? Sure. Healthy? Probably not. And just because something is natural doesn't mean it's healthy. It's a really good question. But because something is natural doesn't make it healthy or right. And that's the problem with us. I don't think it's with the person that necessarily said that, right? So I'm not picking on that person. I'm just talking in general. But that's the problem with us. We think that just because it's natural is right. It ain't. You're destroying yourself. This making sense? Element 1 of resentment, offense. Elements 2 and 3, pain and anger, carbonation, liquid, carbonation, whatever you say. Just because it's natural is not right. And element 4, what I call emotional disassociation. This is going to be a light bulb moment for some of you. Oh my God. Any points? Good. There we go. I'm back. Am I back? Can y'all hear me? TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Am I back? Let me know. I'm back. I'm good. I know I'm good on TikTok. I'm back? Yes. Okay. Good. All right. I want to explain this emotional disassociation thing because this is an element of resentment that people probably don't know about. And if they do know about it, it has become so natural to you that you're wearing it as something that is normal when it's really dysfunctional. And what I mean is, watch this. This is just so powerful. Offense. This is your life. The liquid are all the elements of your life. When you're shaken, that's offense. When that offense occurs, we see pain and we see anger. But over time, notice, watch, the pain and anger dissipates. The pain and anger dissipates. I need y'all to stay with me. Offense, pain and anger dissipates. Why is that important? It is important because if a person looks at this bottle, they would think that this is a normal bottle. I feel like this is going over y'all's head. A person would look at this and say, thank you so much, Miss Barber. You're always so supportive. I appreciate you so much. A person would look at this and say, oh, that bottle looks normal. Offense, pain and anger, and over time, emotional disassociation. Watch. This looks normal. You present as normal. But if we try to open you, we're going to find out that you are not as over the things that have offended you as you thought you were. Y'all, that's the easiest way to describe emotional disassociation, where you have literally created opportunities or ways to cope with emotions, with feelings, with anger, with pain, with whatever, in a way to appear normal. But this is not normal because you have been shaken and you figured out a way to separate the two to appear like something that you're really not. You want to know the gag? A lot of people had nothing to do with your offense. They had nothing to do with your pain and anger. And they just showed up in your life trying to be helpful and ended up having to clean up a mess they never created. Uh-huh. Yep. Many of you have signed up for shaken bottles. And you don't find out until you have to go deeper and resolve problems. You have to go into that bottle and resolve issues. You have to go into that bottle and fix circumstances and problems and issues and challenges and go deeper than surface. You don't find out until you have to crack that bottle open that has been shaken. And when somebody has you, they absolutely, you have handed them something that they never signed up for. Now, some of y'all already in my business. And we're going to talk about how we process this, but it should be obvious. It should be obvious how you process this. I'm going to tell you what you don't do. Let me put my little watermelon juice on the screen. I love this brand of watermelon juice by Evolution. Let me tell you something. This right here, this is some good. Hey, Evolution, get at me. I drink these every day. When I don't have time to juice, this is pure watermelon juice, and it's great. Let me tell you what happens. Some of y'all have been shook up. You done been offended. Your pain and anger all mixed up, but then you present yourself as so unblemished. You have disassociated. You have emotionally disassociated or disassociated your emotions or separated your emotions, and you appear normal, and then somebody else meets you. Oh my God, I like you. You look so well put together and healed and healthy. And oh my gosh, you look like you're all together. Oh my gosh, wow, you're what I've been looking for. And instead of you saying, I've been offended, I got some bottled up, no pun intended. I have some bottled up anger and resentment and pride and da 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 from past situations that I haven't quite resolved. You don't do that. You let Watermelon, Mr. Watermelon, open you. And you end up exploding on Mr. Watermelon. Oh my God. That's how this works. Somebody said they. I don't know, lovely one, but thank you so much. Let me show you for your support. I appreciate you. Thank you. Does that make sense? Emotional dissociation is nothing more than your attempt to, in an unhealthy way, detach from your pain and anger to appear normal. I want you to record that. It is an attempt, it is an unhealthy attempt to detach emotionally, physically, any other kind of from your pain and anger. In the context of resentment, it's emotional disassociation. I'm going to just appear normal instead of dealing with this. Is this making sense at all? Let me get some actual water going over here. Some actual water going. I didn't shake Mr. Pellegrino. This is making sense? Good. 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 That was my goal, to challenge you to see resentment in a different way. Clear as the Caribbean water. Can't wait to be there in a couple of weeks. God knows I need it. All right. So, resentment is the disease that offense caused, that pain and anger keep alive. Bar. That is so salad worthy. Offense or resentment is the disease that offense caused, that pain and anger keep alive. Resentment is the disease that offense caused, that pain and anger keep alive. We're going to talk about 3 ways to, the last thing I'm going to give you is 3 ways to process resentment. And you're going to know if you do these things really well, then you probably have healed from your resentment. Is this making sense? Resentment is the disease that offense caused, that pain and anger keep alive. I wouldn't call walking away disassociation necessarily. I think it depends on the context. I can't answer that definitively. think it depends on the context. Walking away could be a form of attempting to disassociate. Walking away could be the result of you being an avoidant. I don't know. We don't really know. I would need more details, obviously, in a specific situation. But I will say that emotional dissociation is worse than physical dissociation. When you physically disconnect from a situation, that's not as bad as emotionally disassociating. Not at all. I'll tell you why. Because a person doesn't have to be in your presence for them not to be on your mind and in your heart. Oh my God. This is why. Let me make sure the mic is on. Hello. Is the mic on? This is why blocking don't work. This is why blocking after a breakup that you're trying to get over don't work. Levels. Hey, I'm in seat 3A. Y'all don't like that one, do you? I know y'all don't like that. Not this I'm gonna block everybody generation we live in. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Doc, no. You lost me, Doc. I have to block for my peace. That's a lie. If blocking is giving you peace, it's pseudo peace. You are attempting to emotionally disassociate from something that is still bothering you. And I'm going to take it a step further, that when somebody's really in your heart and spirit, blocking them actually makes it worse. Oh my God. Blocking them actually makes it worse. But some of y'all not going to buy into that. You know why? Because all you ever have heard on social media is block, block, block. You break up, block. I'm blocking, block, block. It's great. It's nonsense. It's so seat 32A with the cold peanuts and Biscoff cookies. That's what that is. I don't care if it was dysfunctional and toxic. As long as your life wasn't in harm or danger. I've taught this before, and I want to reiterate this because somebody's going to be extreme. Well, Doc, my life was threatened. They tried to kill me. I shouldn't block them. I'm not talking about that. Clearly. Not only should you block them, go get a 52B. In America, we call that a restraining order. So they try to harm you, block them and get a 52B. I'm not talking about that. But you just had a little breakup. They were immature. They tried to be manipulative. And some of y'all's words, they were a narcissist. Oh my God. Y'all favorite word, they were a narcissist. But Doc, that's just not, Doc, you just can't handle a narcissist that way, Doc. You know, when you're dealing with now let me get my right voice right. This is how some of y'all sound to me. Doc, that don't apply, Doc, when you're dealing with a narcissist. When you're dealing with a narcissist, the rules are always different. Doc, you got to block a narcissist because a narcissist, if you don't block a narcissist won't leave you alone, Doc. Not blocking a narcissist works on a narcissist too. It works on a narcissist too. And I'm telling you right now that if you feel the need to block somebody to get over them, it is one of the weakest physical attempts at emotional disassociation. Oh my God. I don't care who you are. Your mama can be guilty. I don't care. If you got to block somebody to get over the pain and the anger you feel from their offense, they're no longer the problem. You are. I have no problem with no contact. No contact, tailor made. Shout out to you. You always support. Appreciate you, sweetheart. I have no problem with no contact. Sure, if you want to go no contact and not and limit access or remove access so that you can't heal, I have no problem with that. But blocking, you ain't got to block. No, let them text, let them call. Exercise the strength and the discipline to see a message and not respond. But some of us ain't got that kind of deal. You know why? Because we always got to have a word. We always got to have a last word, first word, middle word, beginning word, ending word, simple word, great word. We always got to have a word. But when you heal, you realize you don't need no word. Resentment is the disease that offense calls that pain and anger keep alive. There's a country fly flying in here. I mean, a country. You know, if you from the country, you know what a country fly is. Them things, the flies be about that big, and that thing flies slow, like slow enough for you to catch it. So if y'all see me doing like this, oh my God! If y'all see me doing like this, don't talk about Doc. Yeah, a horse fly on steroids. I swear, I don't know what's going on. I know I just saw one fly across my face. Is this making sense? I want to do a workshop for single people, but it would, good God, the capacity be 500 people on there. But I thought about doing something for that, for sure. Yes, so that's a great question and suggestion. Does that make sense? Pain, how you feel. Anger, what you think. Y'all got some paper? Let me try a diagram real quick because something just clicked. Wait, 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 wait. Y'all get a blank sheet of paper. Hurry. Something just clicked. I don't know if it's going to work. Worst y'all can do is talk about me if it don't. It's life. Get a sheet of paper. Somebody asked a great question on TikTok. What can I do because prayer ain't working? And you believers are going to take, and whatever your faith is, everybody ain't Christian, Muslim, whatever you are, y'all going to be offended by that. Oh my God, what can I do because prayer ain't working? You mean tell me, Doc, sometimes prayer don't work? No, prayer does work. But sometimes you need practical application. And that don't mean you less spiritual either. All you deep religious folks. Oh my God. That don't make sense, Doc. Faith without works is dead. Which means your prayer without action is null and void. You don't believe it? Why don't you believe God, Buddha, Allah for a new job, but don't go out here and fill out no applications? And let me know how that works. You know what makes my work special? I've been told. Because it's practical. I know. Y'all don't like that. Anyway. All right. Make this your paper landscape. Let's do this. I want you to draw the diagram, the $1,000,000 diagram. We know what it is. Start with the word beliefs. Put it in a box. Start on the left side. Beliefs. Draw an arrow. Write the word thoughts. Not thoughts. Thoughts. Oh my God. Beliefs to thoughts. Thoughts. Draw an arrow. Write the word emotions. I'm not running out of space because I made this a little big. Beliefs dash thoughts dash emotions dash write the word behavior. Beliefs become thoughts. Thoughts become emotions. Emotions become behavior. And all of these things influence what? Write it at the top. Circle it. Your life. Okay? All of those things influence your life. When our beliefs create our thoughts, and our thoughts create our emotions, and our emotions create our behavior, this cycle creates and determines our life. Okay? Watch this. I want you, from the word emotion, I want you to draw a down arrow. Let me get a different color if I got it. I hope I do. I've been running low on Sharpies. See how this is going to show up. Nope, that ain't going to work. I may have to do it in red. Why don't I have another Sharpie over here? I feel so unprepared. Nope, we're going to do it in black. It's going to be heavy. We'll do it in black. From the word emotions, I want you to draw a down arrow. And I want you to write the word pain. Just stick with me. I think this is going to work. Write the word pain. Okay? So down from the word arrow, emotions, just bear with me, y'all. This is going to make sense in a second. I want you to write the word pain. I want you to draw a down arrow from thoughts. And I want you to write the word anger. Circle both of them. So down from the word thoughts, I want you to write the word anger. Down from the word emotions, I want you to write the word pain. Remember what I said earlier? I wasn't sure which one went in what order. I still believe that. I don't think there is necessarily an order. I think you can experience anger first and then pain, or you can experience pain first and then anger later. Who knows? Situational. But if we consider emotion, if we consider our thoughts to be, or our anger to be driven by our thoughts, which a lot of times anger is driven by a thought. The offense has already occurred. You've already been shaken. But as you sit still, just because we can't see the anger and the pain because it has dissolved, it has been disassociated, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And sometimes when we think about the shaking that just occurred, that thinking creates what? Anger. Y'all stay with me. Is this making sense? When we think about this while we're at a standstill, the thought creates anger. Y'all there? You supporting the show? The thought creates anger. Watch. And our emotions, as a result of this anger, then creates what? Pain. Do y'all agree? Are y'all with me? Do y'all agree? Does it make sense? So then, watch. Then, if this cycle is true, and we know this is true, that our beliefs create our thoughts create our emotions create our behavior. And our thoughts encourage anger, our emotions support and produce more pain, then something needs to go right here. With beliefs. Is there something we could put here with beliefs that can help to manage our anger and help to manage our pain? Oh, this is so good. Oh my gosh, this is good. Is this making sense? Is there something we can put right there? I have some thoughts on this. I have some thoughts on this. And for me, it's wide range. I have some thoughts on this, and I'm going to say to you that I believe what goes in this box is what we talked about overall. What goes in this box is what we talked about earlier. And somebody just put it on TikTok. What I think goes in this box, honestly, there's a lot of things, y'all, I think we could put in there. You know what I think goes in there? Self-awareness. And let me explain why. The reason why I say self-awareness is because even the foundation of your beliefs and the extent to which you understand your beliefs has to be grounded in a certain level of self-awareness, which is why a lot of people can't control their thoughts or emotions or behaviors because they don't even realize that that stuff is grounded in beliefs. They're clueless. Well, that had me thinking, well, if a person is clueless to how their beliefs impact their thoughts, emotions, and behavior, then their same cluelessness will keep them from managing their anger and pain. Let me say it again slow. If a person is clueless as to how their beliefs will manage their thoughts, emotions, and behavior, they will also be clueless at how, if they ain't self-aware, they can't manage anger and pain either. Now, some of you should be looking at this and saying then, wait a minute then, Doc. So if that's true, Doc, then what should go under behavior? Glad you asked. Let me tell you what doesn't go under there. When it comes to resentment, the first thing that most people recognize when somebody is operating in resentment, the first thing that most of us recognize is their bitterness. Right? This soda has been shaken. We see the suds. This is going to be a flat. We call it flat. This is going to be a flat soda, right? So not bitter in the sense of there's nothing bitter about flat. It's actually bland, but you get the point, right? It changes the consistency and the taste of the soda, right? Most people, the first thing they recognize when it comes to resentment is bitterness. Because when you mix anger and bitterness up, you see suds. Those suds are bitter, what people might call bitterness. Why? Because bitterness is often recognizable, it's visible, but the more of it we get, the flatter the soda becomes. Are y'all with me? The more of it we get, the flatter we become. So I don't think we put bitter under behavior because bitterness shouldn't be the goal. Remember, beliefs should control. Y'all see that fly? That fly was flying slow across it, didn't it? That thing is big, ain't it? Beliefs should control your thoughts. Your thoughts should control your emotions. Your emotions should control your behavior. Well, self-awareness should control anger. And when anger is under control, pain should subside. When pain subsides, something else has to happen. And this is where we get to where we need to be as it relates to processing resentment in a healthy way. This ain't complicated. Some of y'all like to make this stuff so complicated. Y'all simplify. Let me tell you the beauty of this work. If you do this work especially, let me just give you a tip whether you want it or not. Simplify. Most people don't understand these terms that we know and that some of you throw out there. Just simplify. Simple is better. Okay. Under behavior, let's introduce something. I want you to draw another circle there. Okay. And I want you to put in that circle that fly is so loud and close. Spiritual principles. Self-awareness should help us to manage our anger. Our anger should help us to manage our pain. Our pain should then guide us towards functioning in spiritual principles. What kind of spiritual principles? Draw 3 arrows. I'm going to give you 3. And these are the things that we need to focus on that'll help us. Number 1, control. Control. Control is a spiritual principle. And sometimes, y'all ready? Sometimes resentment looks like the need to be in control. Some of you don't even know you are resentful about a situation or an incident that's occurred. All you know is that you try to control everything. Oh my God. No, I don't need that can. I'm from the country. That little fly ain't bothering me. Ain't bothering nothing. My house is clean, so I ain't worried about it. I want to say this again because I don't think the light is going off. Some of you don't even realize that this control that you have, you being a control freak and having to control every narrative, every situation, every incident, every outcome, every story, every side, every perspective, what he say, what she say, this need to be in control is really nothing more than an outward manifestation of inner resentment. But when you're self-aware and you can manage your anger and you managing your pain, you can then recognize that control ain't what most people think it is. It's actually spiritual. which means you don't have to be in control of nothing or nobody. All you have to do is be in control of yourself. And you recognize that when you try to be in control of a situation or try to be in control of people or circumstances in order to try to manage this bottled up resentment that you have, is really fake control. It's pseudo control. Pseudo control is when you use control as a defense mechanism to avoid pain. Would you record that? Pseudo control is when you use control as a defense mechanism to avoid pain. Oh my God. This is for all you people that have been hurt, wrong, offended. And so you have become the ultimate control freaks in every area of your life. Why? Well, because, Doc, I got to protect myself. I can't let nobody get me again. That's pseudo control. You're doing it as a defense mechanism because you don't want to deal with the pain. Oh my God. And people don't even look at that as a sign that they're living in resentment. They think it's healthy. In fact, some of you go as far to say this: that's a boundary. I've had clients use their pseudo control and call it a boundary. Yeah, Doc, I'm not controlling. I'm setting boundaries. Me needing to control stuff and make sure that things are right and people don't do it's a boundary to ensure that they can't hurt me again. No, it's pseudo control. And you know why that's hard for people to realize? Because it's a spiritual principle. The spiritual principle of control is not the natural principle of control. The natural principle of control is to try to grab things and to dictate the terms of it. The spiritual principle of control is what book number 5 is talking about: letting go of it. Look at y'all. Y'all quiet. Letting go of it. And you'll never understand letting go without a spiritual foundation, which is why book number 5 is going to confuse many of y'all if you have not worked on that third area of healing: mental, emotional, spiritual. If you ain't worked on that, good luck with your resentment, because you will try to control everything in your life after every offense, thinking that your effort to try to control everything is going to keep you out of harm's way. And it's pseudo control. It is a way of you trying to disconnect from the pain of what has happened in the past. Oh my God. And y'all, at the end of the day, this is really dysfunction. And let me tell you why this is dysfunction. This is dysfunction because it helps you to think you have a power that you really don't have. Oh my God. This is dysfunction because it makes you think you have a power you don't have. Thank you, Nicole. I think that's my client. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Is this making sense? I hope y'all supporting this show. When you think you can control everything and everybody, and that's going to help you avoid pain, that is dysfunction at its finest. I told somebody recently, I don't have to have the next word, first word, or last word. I don't care. Because I don't have to be in control. And if you don't have a spiritual compass, that makes no sense to you. That the best way to have control is to stop trying to have control. This is why this next book, some of y'all gonna need, you ain't gonna read through this next one like a novel. You have to put your thinking cap on. Doc, what's the name of the book? You want it? Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. Don't make it happen. Let it go. Uh-oh. It's called Don't Make It Happen. Let It Go. It's going to be out sooner than you think. And most of what I talk about in that book, control. You cannot get past resentment if you have to be in control. That's control of a narrative. That's control of people. That's in control of outcomes. That's in control of situations. That's in control of your family. That's in control of your ex. That's in control of what you ain't going to resolve an ounce of resentment or offense needing to be in control. Because it's dysfunction. Your effort to be in control, and you walk around, yep, can't hurt me because I got a boundary. Can't hurt me because I put up a boundary. So you can't hurt me, and it's fake. And it is dysfunction at its finest because you are assuming a power that you really don't have. You can't control people. You can't control narratives. Even if you think you can, you can't. Yeah, I'll repost it if people support the show. I told y'all this is gonna be a good live. It's thorough too. I got 11:02. I need all of my 25 minutes. I need it. So we can beat resentment by gaining understanding of the spiritual principle of control. We can also beat resentment. Let me give you another spiritual principle. By healing our relationship with the word trust. You got to heal your relationship with the word trust. Heal your relationship with the word trust, which is also another spiritual principle. Why is this important? Because some of you have trust issues as a result of offense that has created resentment, but is lacking in self-awareness. So if you have resentment that is lacking in self-awareness, then it is erroneous to say you have trust issues. And the reason why it is erroneous to say you have trust issues when you have no self-awareness is because you can't properly gauge whether or not somebody is or is not trustworthy if you're not owning your role in the situation. Let me put this plainly. Some of y'all don't have trust issues. Some of you just have not taken the offense and the resentment that you have, or rather, let's just take that word off the table. The anger and the pain that you have towards others, you have not properly processed it, and you have chosen trust as almost like a weapon. We weaponize the word trust. You want an example? You got to earn my trust. Well, let me ask y'all a question. How many of you, put in the chat area, if you've ever felt resentment towards someone or a situation, if you've ever felt resentment towards someone or a situation, and you've used the phrase, you have to earn my trust, I want you to type a 1 in the comments. Anybody ever said that? Been offended, pain and anger came, and you told people you got to earn my trust. I've been through whatever. Let me see it. Come on, put some ones. That's it? Just like 10 of y'all? That's it? It's almost, do my math. Oh, we still almost got 500 people on the live. Shadow ban, not bad. How many of you have done that? I have a question. If you've been one of those people, where's my mouse? If you have been one of those people that has had to deal with resentment or pain and anger as a result of offense, and then you have engaged with somebody else and then said, hey, I think you're cool, whatever, you're just going to have to earn my trust. You might even add more to it. You may say something like, yeah, you got to earn my trust because I've been hurt before. Can I tell y'all something that ain't going, I hope it don't offend you? If you've said that, that is the epitome of dysfunctional trust. That is the epitome of a dysfunctional spiritual foundation. Yep, I agree with that, Mary Lou B. She said on TikTok, it's the same as saying to somebody, I have no reason to trust you. What? Wait. Saying to somebody, I have no reason to trust you, or saying to somebody, you got to earn my trust when they weren't in on the pain and anger is the epitome of spiritual dysfunction. And so you walk around talking about something, you got trust issues. No, you're dysfunctional. You're broken. Because when you're healed and you have mental, emotional, spiritual healing, and you have these three things as a foundation, guess what? When you meet people, you hand them trust as you meet them. Hey, y'all, type in the chat levels, all caps, because somebody's bound to disagree with it. Doc, you're wrong. You're going too far. You tell me I meet a complete stranger, I should hang out trust. Yeah, heal people do. Why would I live my life and operate in a deficit towards people that had nothing to do with my past? Instead of being healthy enough to hand them a trust and see what they do with it. And then if they ruin the trust, that's a totally different conversation. But all you people that start off, put people in the depths, I don't know you, so you're going to have to earn it. You start them in the negative, that's dysfunction. And it's a result of your resentment. It is a result of you not properly processing your anger and pain. Kudos to those of you that can meet people and trust them from the beginning. And that doesn't mean you don't have to pull that trust back. It doesn't mean you don't have to reel that trust in, but it means you can show up, give people the opportunity to have access to your trust, and then see what they do with it. Because that, my friends, is the healthier way. And this is why so many of your first dates are so bad. This is why some of y'all end up on arguments on your first date. You know why? Because you come to the table with a whole bunch of anger and pain instead of coming to the table with a whole lot of trust. Nah, you come to the table with a whole bunch of anger, whole bunch of pain, no self-awareness, and trust issues and control issues. And you wonder why you're still single. Oh my God. That's why. Which leads me to the third spiritual principle. You guys should know, if you follow my work, you should even know where I'm going here. Because I talk about this and I talk about it heavily in the book. And of course, y'all, this should go without saying. If you hand out your trust and somebody doesn't handle it right, you obviously don't have to keep trusting them. I'm talking about starting off in deficits and starting people off in deficits. If you starting off these connections and deficits, you can't be shocked that you ain't made no meaningful connections. You starting people off in the red. I don't know you. I don't know where you came from. I don't know how you've been shaken. And you gonna tell me I gotta earn opening this? No, I'll keep you on the shelf. Oh my God. Heal people look at folk like that. Nah, you can just stay on the shelf where you at. I'm good. Leads me to the third spiritual principle that will help you manage this resentment thing, and it's called fear. Getting a healthy relationship with fear. Fear. I like that. Somebody in Instagram, I want to give her credit. It's me Z717 said, "Yeah, I got to earn it, and I got to earn a flat soda." Exactly. Which is why you're not gonna put me as a healed man through some hoops because you show up at the table in anger and pain. And I got to earn your trust. No, go let somebody else do it. I don't want no flat soda. Oh my God! I don't want your flat soda. Let somebody else do it. Let somebody else cope with your anger and pain and your trust issues and control issues and your fear challenges. That's not my problem. You've been shaking like this, and then you're like, "Here, doc, you open me. That's all right." You think I'm gonna jump through hoops for something flat? We have to develop a healthy relationship with fear. And you should know from my triangle of trust that the best way to manage fear is to manage it with what? The best way to manage fear, I'm multitasking like crazy, is to manage it with faith. You manage fear with faith. And you're going to need some faith if you're going to rest in such a spiritual principle that will allow you to be open to new possibilities after you've had to deal with resentment. Let me say this in just plain English. Your resentment should not be the reason why you're still single. And if it is, it's because you don't have either one or all three of these spiritual principles. You ain't got it. Doc, I would be with somebody right now, but I'm just so resentful of men because of what my daddy did. No, no, bro. You ain't with nobody because you have fear, trust, and control issues. Let's just call it what it is. And the only way you're gonna get past fear is you gotta substitute faith. You have to substitute faith. I call this part of my triangle of trust. Ebook is available on the link in my bio. And you're gonna get a big dose of it in book number 5. You know why? Because the triangle of trust is one of the answers that I've discovered is a great answer to letting go of anything, including letting go of resentment. You're gonna have to operate in some of these. So how can we process resentment? Let me give you 3 easy ways, and I'm done. I got 11:15. I need till 11:25. I need 10 more minutes. Y'all with me? Y'all supporting the show? Hmm? Y'all supporting? Y'all there? Everybody's there? Let me give you 3 quick and dirty ways you can process resentment. You can start tonight. Good question, Mary. How long is too long to have these issues after dealing with grief? I'm assuming you're talking about pain and anger. That's a really good question that I hear a lot, actually, Ms. Mary. And the answer to that question is I don't have an answer. I don't think it's fair, much like dealing with these, much like it wouldn't be fair for me to tell a person, yeah, when somebody dies, for example, when somebody dies, that should take you about 6 weeks to grieve. You should look at a person funny if they say that to you. I don't care, unless they've got some real science to prove it, and it's going to be hard to do that. Sure, you could take some science and some research around things like building habits and stuff like that, which is why I tell people when you're doing this work, it's going to take you anywhere from 14 to say 47, 48 days to see changes. But the research supports that. The research supports that it takes on average about 14 to 48 days, and that's a very broad range for habits to be established. Well, if it takes that long to establish a habit, then it might take that long to change. So it might take that long to actually form new habits that will help you process things like grief, things like that. But I don't even like getting into the numbers game because there's so many different variables that determines why one person gets over grief or gets through grief in 5 days, and another person, it takes them 50 years to get through it, right? So there's a lot of different factors there. And I think this diagram, Miss Mary, is much the same. That there are a lot of factors here. Doesn't matter what it is, relationship, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Remember, grief isn't synonymous to an incident. Grief is synonymous to the fact that grief is necessary when we experience loss. Doesn't matter what the loss is. You can lose your pet frog. You need to grieve it. So it doesn't matter what the thing is. And I think this absolutely operates in the same fashion, that when it comes to anger and pain, even with relationships, how long it is going to take is going to be contingent on quite a few factors, up to and including you, your trauma, how you process past trauma, your attachment style, your history with certain traumas, your effort, your willingness to do the work, if that makes sense, right? But that's a great question there. Great question. And I hear that question a lot. It's just one that I don't like giving an answer to because it's hard to answer. All right, 3 quick and dirty ways to process resentment. You ready? Number 1, pick and choose what offends you wisely. Pick and choose what offends you wisely. Instagram, I need y'all to share the video. I know I'm not showing up on people's feeds anymore, but I'm out of the Instagram algorithm too. Instagram now tells me when I post my long videos, it says you do realize, like a message comes on the screen that says something to the extent of you do realize you're not gonna, this is not gonna be shared with new people because it's longer than 3 minutes. It's wild. Pick and choose what offends you wisely. In other words, pick and choose what you let shake you. Because the more you shake, the more gas is released. The more gas is released, the wilder your anger and pain goes. What's the easy way, Doc, we can pick and choose what offends us? Why don't you measure every offense against your values? Put that in your notes. Measure every offense against your values. Based on your values, does it make sense for you to be offended? This is why all of you should know your 5 to 7 values, and you should then align your life with them. If one of your values is peace and you've been offended, you got to ask yourself, does my response to that offense align with my value of peace? The answer is probably no. Go to the next value. Go through all 5 or 5 to 7 of them. That's going to help you determine it. But if you're shaking the bottle, that's offense, and pain and anger have been created. The more you choose to be offended, the more you choose pain and anger. I can't make this more simple than this. Practicality. So pick and choose what you allow to shake you. And we can do that by measuring this against our values. Does that make sense? Who be hating on me? What are you talking about? Who hating on me? What I do? Who be hating on me? Ain't no telling. Yeah, I'm used to it. It's life. I've been called to this. I love it. So that's one easy way you can process resentment. Let me give you another one. Another thing to consider if you want to process resentment in a healthy way. 3 easy and healthy. Let me add that to that. 3 easy and healthy ways. Recognize recognize and accept the capacity of the offender. Recognize and accept the capacity of the offender. Recognize and accept the capacity of the offender. Recognize and accept the capacity of the offender, which means before you get all bent out of shape and have all of this resentment over a daddy that wasn't present in your life, but when he had you, he chose drugs over you and decided to be an addict instead of taking care of his children and his family. So then he ran the street and chose to be an addict instead of taking care of you and made that conscious choice. And now you, as a full-fledged adult, are holding resentment against a reformed addict that made a horrible decision and clearly did not have the capacity to know better. Is that resentment you really have to carry? Mama was running the streets, wasn't taking care of you, was emotionally disconnected from you, and she was not the emotional support you needed. And here you are, 40 years old, mama 60, mama's apologized, and you still holding resentment over the decision that she made with poor capacity. Yeah, you're going to need the spiritual principles of control, trust, and fear so you can let go. And I want to be very clear here. Letting go of resentment doesn't mean that you necessarily have to reconcile. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Letting go of resentment does not necessarily mean reconciliation. Because we could assume that letting go would be akin to forgiving. And we should know by now as adults that just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to be reconciled. So letting go of resentment doesn't necessarily mean you have to reconcile. If that same said daddy abandoned you when you were 5 because he chose drugs, and here he is at 40, you're at 40, and here he is asking you for forgiveness, but he's still struggling with his problems and his priorities, you can forgive him and still put up boundaries, and you don't have to reconcile. Well, Doc, reconciliation is biblical. No, it ain't. The Bible obviously supports, for those of you that are believers, supports reconciliation. But reconciliation ain't mandatory. especially when we're dealing with dysfunction. I have friends that are Muslim. Quran doesn't support that necessarily when you're dealing with dysfunction. I appreciate you, Latrina. Y'all support the show. I got one more easy, healthy way to process this, and I'm done. This is making sense. This is making sense. I like that people are really chiming in on that biblical format for reconciliation. It is. There is a format for it. There's a process, and it's greater than somebody just saying I'm sorry. Absolutely. So good. I think y'all get that. Third easy and healthy way to process resentment. Then I'm done. I hope y'all support the show. If you have, I'm gonna leave it up. If not, I'll put this diagram up as well. This was powerful, wasn't it? Wasn't that powerful? Wasn't that big right there? Wow. I'll put that up. Third, an easy and healthy way to process this, and it should be a no-brainer. Hey, y'all, promo code. Those of you that want to attend Self-Awareness Tour in Chicago, use the promo code self-aware, CHI, all capital letters, self-aware, CHI 22. Self-aware, CHI 22. You have until Saturday at noon for general admission ticket. Self-aware, CHI 22. My gift to you. Self-aware, CHI 22. You have until noon on Saturday. Promo code, if you have not purchased a ticket for Chicago, check it out. Third, quick and dirty way. You can process this, and it should be a no-brainer, y'all. You ready? Go slow. Go slow. Go slow. I'm going to tell you some practical ways you can do this, but one way that people are not doing this because you're not doing the work. You're on social media telling people, I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. What you doing? I'm in therapy. That ain't doing the work. It's not because a lot of therapists, counselors, coaches are not giving you work to do. They're just talking to you and letting you talk. So you're not doing the work. Let me tell you what doing the work is. Doing stuff that will say, for instance, calm your nervous system. You know, prayer, meditation, so that you can release anger in a healthy way. But you got to go slow. You know why? Watch this, y'all. Because if after this, I just rip this open, I've made a mess. Can I open this bottle? Sure, I can open it. I'm about to open it. But watch this. It's gonna give me a little business. Don't embarrass me on this live. See that? Oh yeah, this about to. Oh no. No. When you go slow, you let out some of the gas. When you go slow, you take the time to process the anger and the pain. And look at that. When you go slow, you can open it. And I'm talking about going slow every time. Because when you put the top back on and people are offended again, if you rip this top off and notice, look at how much more anger. When somebody gets to a place where they're stable and then they get shaken again, the pain and anger can get worse. But if you're going to deal with them or you're going to process it slow. Uh-huh. Let that gas out slowly. I want y'all to put in the chat just your last note. Slow is the new fast. Slow will help you calm your nervous system. The way we can master being slow at things is through things like prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation teach you how to slow down. They teach your thoughts how to slow down. They teach your emotions how to slow down. And look at that. You see how all of that shaking, you see how easy it was to open this if you just go slow? Where's the mess? There ain't no mess. I did a video on this today. I was shocked so many people liked it. And when I say so many, that's so relative because I'm so shadow banned. My videos used to get anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 likes a video. Now I'm getting about 500. But it was an amazing conversation where I had to challenge a young lady to understand that slow is the new fast. Not just in the context of dating, but just in the context of life in general, especially when it comes to processing resentment and pain and anger, taking your time. Because when you take your time, y'all, you don't make a mess. Does this make sense? It's me, Z. Great question. Any suggestions on how to pray? Don't judge. You see who my daddy was. I don't remember. I think you shared something with me about your dad, I believe. I hope I'm not getting this mixed up. If I am Z, don't charge it to my head, please, and not my heart. I hope this is making to your question, how to pray. There's a formula for prayer. It depends on obviously what faith you are. I'm a Christian, and there's a very clear formula to pray for prayer, and it's really the Lord's Prayer. It gives you a great formula for prayer. And it talks about everything you should be praying for: transgressions, debtors, things that we owe, people that owe us, temptation, evil, greater purposes as it relates to the future in the kingdom. Oh, okay. Okay. The daddy you described earlier. I got you. I got you. I'm sorry. Y'all was so slow. Sorry about that. Oh my God. Okay. Y'all, did this make sense tonight? Was this helpful? Hmm? Yeah, I'm gonna do in my subscriber series, I'm gonna do some things on one of the things that I'm gonna be teaching subscribers. We're gonna go through some practical ways to um, um, calm the nervous system, and some things that I've done in my personal life that have been helpful. And I want to share, so I want to talk a lot about that in the subscriber space here, hopefully over the next couple of weeks before I try to get some time off. But I hope this made sense tonight. Hope it did. Take your time, because when you've been shaking like this, and you just all of that pain and anger is gonna come flying out this bottle. So you just let the pain and anger subside and show some patience. We can get it open. Oh, I know you want to explode. Nope, not happening. That's how you manage resentment. It's a slow roast. It's a slow burn. You need me to open that? As my daughter needs me to open her Stanley Cup right in the middle of my live. There you go. You're welcome. Y'all, was this helpful? This makes sense? Do me a favor, like the video, share it. Don't forget, let me just throw up some things really quickly. First of all, thank you all for attending and participating tonight. Don't forget, if you're a couple that want to get on my calendar and you're interested in my 3-hour intensive, I already had one. It was great. It was really, really, really solid. Give me 3 hours. If you're in a relationship situation, you want to try to get some quick solutions, it's a great way to do it. So I have some more opportunities for that. The group work that I mentioned earlier, July the 20th is coming. Chicago is coming up on July the 12th. And Charlotte is coming up on August the 16th, and hoping to have some more dates here real soon. Don't forget about the promo code I just released earlier. For those of you that are attending in Chicago, it is available until noon on Saturday. Self-aware, CHI 22. Self-aware, CHI 22. Self-aware, CHI 22. Use that promo code. You have until noon on Saturday to do it. My gift to you, I would love to see you in Chicago and looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time and really thankful for the team there. All right, I'm done. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a good night. When do I anticipate any openings for individual sessions? I was saying that early on the call. Man, I don't know. I might end up being closed for the year. Right now, I have appointments on my calendar all the way into December. Believe it or not, this was a big class that I let in this time. A very big class, and so the way my cadence is working, it's looking like it's going to be about twice a year, like the beginning of the year, and then right around that May June part is when I'm able to do it again. That's been my cadence for the last 2 or 3 years with all this growth, and I think that's what it's going to be. So yeah, it's crazy. The weight is insane. And so that's why I recommend things like group work. So I'm going to start offering a whole lot more of those because, oh Lord, I still got the flyer up. Because group works are a great alternative to it. So you don't have to hold tight and wait so long to get some work. All right. And of course, a cheaper alternative, obviously, is to look into subscription through Patreon and IG. That's a really good way to do it. And it's valuable content. I have subscribers that want to get on my books, but have never signed up because the subscription is enough. And that's a very, very, very nominal fee compared to getting time on my calendar right now. So that's that. Where do I go to find the group work form on divorce? It is on, check out the links on my bio or go to my website. And you'll see it there. And it's called Should I Stay or Should I Go? I've got it on the screen there. And the link to sign up is on the links on my bio or on my website. Okay. And you can certainly do that. We'd love to have you and have more of you sign up for that. All right. I think I've answered some grief counseling with this subscription. No, because it's not individual. It's not individual. However, we do Ask Me Anythings on the individual or on the subscription services. So people come on the screen and ask questions, and it's a smaller community group. So it's really, really, really cool. Thank you, Tariva, for your support. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. I got to run. It's 11:39. This is crazy. It is getting later and later and later every week, but I hope this was a good live. Support the show if you haven't already. I would appreciate it. And we'll keep the live up if you do. Peace and blessings. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Bye now.